you already had a change of opponents and we haven't even started the season yet. What's that like in terms of preparation?
It hasn't really influenced us too much because we're sort of in a different phase than teams like Fremantle, where we're still developing our game style and brand. So I'm just looking forward to playing a good team this week in Adelaide, and we'll get pressure tested against a really good team. So we're looking forward to that.
You're saying a different phase. Is it mainly, finals coming off a one-win season, it's going to be a bit of a journey to get to that competitive stage that Freo's at?
Probably not from that angle. It's probably more the fact that we've had a change of game style, new coach. Adam Selwood's left the program. Michelle Cowan's moved into a new role. So we're in a different phase in that space. Being competitive is an expectation at West Coast, so that's going to be no different to what happened last year. Obviously, we want to have more wins than one, so hopefully that happens.
What are some of the trademarks that you want, Daniel, with how the team plays and your brand?
I'm just looking for them to firstly be competitive and play the game for as long as possible. A lot of the games across the AFLW season come down to moments of 2 or 3 or 4 goals in short periods. So if we can get that right, and that probably comes on the back of being as tough as we can be around the contest and then being smart in how we play. So they're probably the 2 focuses I've had so far.
Have you had enough time with the team to implement the game style that you want?
I think so. I think the longer the season goes on, the longer that we'll play it for. Obviously playing against Adelaide is going to be a really big challenge, and see how long we can do that for. We played Freo on a practice match a couple of weeks ago, and I was really pleased with the amount of time we were able to stick to that style and brand. So if we can do that for longer every week, I think we'll see some benefits in the back end of the year in particular.
Scoring was a big issue last season. What have you done to address that?
Well, if we can get it in there more, that's probably the first priority. And then we've worked hard on our defensive structure as well. So locking the ball in our front half, like every team, is a priority. So field position and contest wins are probably the primary focus for all AFLW teams.
Emma, coming off that practice game against Freo, what impressed you about the team? What have you seen as an improvement from last year?
Yeah, I think the girls who have joined us this year were quite impressive, and it's always sort of that element of unknown. You have a little bit of time together before Christmas, but whether or not they kind of just slot in and make it their own as well, you're not so sure. So yeah, to have Ash come out of 2 weeks quarantine from coming over from Ireland and then slotting in, kicking a couple of goals in the first quarter was really promising. And Bella Lewis is another one who really held her own as an 18-year-old in and around our midfield as well.
Daniel touched on changes in the organisation. What does that do for the players? Is there a period of adjustment that comes with that?
Yeah, I guess so. I think probably at the start of pre-season, myself individually was a little bit apprehensive, a couple of staffing changes, a little bit of movement throughout the first couple of weeks. But to be honest, the girls have adjusted really well, and it hasn't really interrupted us as a group at all. We've sort of just kept rolling, and the club's fantastic. They've made it as smooth as anything for us. So yeah, it probably hasn't really taken too much adjusting.
You personally took on a pretty heavy load in the midfield last season. Who do you see stepping up this year to give you a hand?
Yeah, I think I just mentioned her before, but Ash has come over from the Western Bulldogs and played against her in round 4 last year, and super happy to have her on the same team. And we've got a couple of the other younger girls as well. So Bella I mentioned, but also Michaela Bowen's got this is her second year, so has a year under her belt now. So I think everyone will start stepping up, all the younger girls in particular.
Yeah, and as a player, what goes through your mind when you look at the betting markets and a lot of people are saying you're going to be in the wooden spoon conversation again? Well, what's that like as a player?
I don't look at the betting markets, so I wouldn't know that. But yeah, look, I think externally doesn't really bother us too much. We've done a lot of work this year internally on our belief in each other, and 14, 15 players from our list last year have now got their first year under their belt, and in the system they know what to expect. So yeah, I guess it's just that internal belief.
And what does Feb 20 mean to you, just off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, I've sort of erased all the fixtures with the unknown of what's going on, but obviously it's a big day for the Western Australian football community, and last year just the build up to that was phenomenal. So hopefully we sort of get the same turnout and the same build up, and that'll be great.
Obviously they taught you a bit of a lesson on the day. That's, I guess, comes with the territory of being the new kids on the block, but that memory, I'm sure, sticks with you a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for maybe a little while we're going to be like the little sisters of Western Australia, but we all know that eventually the little sisters get bigger, so yeah.
What's your plan for Bella? Daniel, does she go straight in, or do you have to ease her into it all?
No, she's a straight in type of player, so she's one of those girls who's played a lot of footy, and she's natural. Her style and kicking and running and tackling is it looks like very similar to how the guys play, so I'm going to throw her in the deep end and we'll see how she goes.
As far as your availability, how are you placed for selection?
We haven't got as much available as we would like. We brought a lot of girls in. Well, at the start of the season, we had a lot of injuries to begin with, so we did bring in all of our new girls who were fit to go, so who came onto the list. So a lot of those girls will get an opportunity this week. We'll have some girls playing their first game of AFLW or for the club, but ideally you'd have everyone available. That's not our situation at the moment, and probably every other club's in the same position. So hopefully we get more back as the season goes on.
Amber, are you glad to see the back of the conference system?
Like I said before, with the fixtures unknown, it's very much like we could end up in a similar situation anyway. So I'm just happy to play, to be honest, and sort of leave those decisions to the big dogs.